Hello interwebs and welcome. Today's the day for scaffolding a Nuxt front-end framework. My name's Brian and I have a confession. I want to learn how to use some tools that are new to me. Some of the frameworks I've used before came with interactive CLIs. Nuxt comes with interactivity, so scaffolding a project is easy. Scaffolding is an automated process for building functional frameworks. Some frameworks, such as GridSim, only scaffolds the framework. Others, like Nuxt and Vue CLI, ask a bunch of questions. Then the framework is built based on the answers you gave. Before we get started today, I'm just going to list the tools I'll be using. The first tool I'll need is a terminal, but I'll use the one in VS Code. Next I'll need npm version 5.2 or later, and finally I'll need the internet to download the Nuxt package. The purpose of this dev guide is to build a front-end framework. There's a number of ways to set up Nuxt, but I'm going to use the simplest. So now it's time to start by firing up VS Code. Now that I have VS Code, I'm just going to navigate to my www directory. Let me just go full screen. And I'm going to open a folder. And I'm going to go into www. This is my external drive, the My Documents drive. And the subdirectory is www. I don't like working on my desktop. Here we are. To open a terminal, I use Control-tilde. This is a terminal. Flashing down here in the bottom left of the screen is the command prompt that runs within the terminal. The command prompt is where I can type in commands, and when I hit enter, those commands will execute. So let's type in a command to create a Nuxt framework. Let's type in npx. Now npx comes with npm version 5.2 or later. And then we put in the space and then we type in create Nuxt app. Don't forget to put dashes between those words. Then we put in another space and then I'm going to call this project login code. Before hitting enter, I might maximize the terminal and increase the font size. I use the control key and the plus and minus keys to change the font size. That should be big enough. Okay, let's hit enter and see what happens. npx is now reaching out to the internet and grabbing Create Nuxt App. In a moment, the command line interface, the CLI, is going to start asking me questions, and I hope I'm ready to answer them. Project name, login code. Well, that's a good start. My programming language is going to be JavaScript. I like using npm. There are a few packages where you do need to use yarn, but for the most part, npm is good enough. UI frameworks. I've started using Vuetify, so that's the one I'm going to choose. I'm going to select Axios. Not that I'm going to use it. I've been having problems with the linting tools. Instead, I'm just going to let VS Code handle all the linting. I'm going to choose Jest as my testing framework, and I'm going to use universal mode. Am I going to be hosting with Node or am I going to be using Jamstack? I'm going to choose Jamstack, and I'm not going to bother with JSConfig. Now that I've answered all these questions, a subdirectory called login code is going to start filling up with the files and the folders that make up my new app. And now that the new app is available, I can change into that directory. Let's try that again. And now that I'm in this directory, I can use an npm command to run in development mode or dev mode. Excellent. All of the code has been compiled, and if I was to Control-Alt-Click, well, you can't see it because it opened up off screen, so let me just drag it over here. Ta-da! Here we have a Nuxt app running on my local system being displayed in a browser. Frameworks for the win! Today we looked at the tools that I use to scaffold an app. We also looked at the process of scaffolding an actual app. Scaffolds are great to use, especially for solo developers. I just want to build apps, and scaffolding gets me there faster. This was a simple video, and the next one will be too. But that's all I got for now, so until next time, toodaloo! Be safe, be kind, and build something awesome!